are obsolete, Mr. Wordsworth.
A lie. No man is obsolete.
You have no function, Mr. Wordsworth. You're an anachronism, like a ghost from another time.
I am nothing more than a reminder to you that you cannot destroy truth by burning pages.
You're a bug, Mr. Wordsworth, a crawling insect, an ugly, misformed little creature who has no purpose here, no meaning.
I am a human being.
Words, Mr. Wordsworth, that have no substance and no dimension, like air, like the wind.
I don't care. I tell you, I don't care. I'm a human being. I exist. And if I speak one thought aloud, that thought lives, even after I'm shoveled into my grave.
Delusions, Mr. Wordsworth. Delusions that you inject into your veins to make you think you have a strength when you have no strength at all. You have nothing but spindly limbs and a dream, and the state has no use for your kind.
Resistance to tyrants is obedience to God. It's Alex Jones.
We are live, hour number 3, 9 minutes, 15 seconds in. Icon Robert Kiyosaki is our guest, richdad.com. He's here to talk about how the ultra-rich have set up a scam to transfer your wealth to them. He's going to go over the different types of corruption and manipulation that are going on, and then ways to avoid this and protect yourself. He has charted and chronicled and predicted everything we see unfolding today, and that's the type of guest we have on. Not all the big paid-for mercenaries, financial mercenaries on TV and radio that give you disinfo. We have people on who've got a track record of being accurate, and he's one of the most accurate out there, richdad.com. Again, our websites are infowars.com and prisonplanet.tv. Robert, you started getting into some of the ways they transfer our wealth. Let's go over that, and then ways to protect ourselves, and then where you see this society and economy going. Robert?
Well, when you say to your child, go to school, get good grades, and get a safe, secure job, the moment you've done that, you've programmed to pay taxes at that point. So the harder you work, the higher percentage in taxes you pay. And then they tell you to save money. And the problem with saving money, as you know, from the fractional reserve system, the Fed and the Treasury are allowed to print money, so your money is devalued in the savings plan. The third, when they print money, you're eaten alive by inflation, and you can see inflation creeping up in food right now. And then the fourth way is they tell you to put it into a retirement plan filled with mutual funds, stocks, bonds, and things like that. And what happens is the taxes go against the person who does that, but also their money is flowing to the rich. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong, because every coin has two sides. So the money is always flowing to guys like me. So when I write Rich Dad, Poor Dad and all this, I'm saying, look, that money in savings is going to me. Your money in your 401k is going to me. And when you pay taxes, that money goes to me, and I do mean me. So that's why I wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad, was to wake people up and say, look, you only have basically two choices. You're either going to make the money or have your money stolen. And that's the system. It's terrible.
Well, earlier you were talking about the pension funds and the ratio and 401ks, the mutual funds. Now they're openly, and this is already happening in Europe, it's called austerity, where almost all the taxes we pay goes to service debt that they made out of nothing via fractional reserve banking, and now the derivative scam that even leverages it further. And we know that now they're announcing, oh, we're going to save Social Security by raising the tax. We're going to save your private pension fund, your 401k, by taking it and putting a tax on it. And so now as people get ready to retire in record amounts, magically they're changing the system to steal most of that as well. And then through government-run health care, they make you pay into the system. I mean, it's incredible.
It's fascism is what it is. It's not even socialism anymore. Fascism was where the government does it at the point of a gun to force you to do things.
Yes.
And that's what I fought in Vietnam twice, and I didn't fight for fascism or socialism. I fought for capitalism. And I think that's what's being robbed from us is a free capitalist society.
Go through the basics and talk about some of your new books, Conspiracy of the Rich, 8 Ways The 8 New Rules of Money and an Unfair Advantage, one of the newest books. But, I mean, go through specifically then, quantify what you mean by when you pay taxes, it goes to, Ben Bernanke. When you pay, when you make money, they get it. So I mean, how do you make money and keep it? Explain that.
Well, let me explain. There's always 2 sides to a coin. I've never seen a one-sided coin yet. So the tax laws are really designed to make the rich richer. The problem is if you go to school and get a job or become a doctor or a lawyer, the tax then flows to the rich. So a guy like me, I have made more money in the last 3 years, 2007 to 2010, tax-free. And so debt and taxes work for those with financial education. Debt and taxes work against those without financial education. So you can go to Harvard or Oxford and all this and still know nothing about debt and taxes. I am millions of dollars in debt, but that debt makes me rich, tax-free. And that's where financial education kicks in. This stuff they teach kids to put your money in a mutual fund, I'm glad they do that because that's where I get my money from. That's really the second side of the coin.
Okay, explain that to people.
Well, there's 2 kinds of people. You either park your money, which is savings and pensions, and people who move their money. This in my world of finance is called the velocity of money. I want my money back as soon as possible so I can buy another asset, and I mean an asset, not stocks, bonds, or mutual funds. So I'm constantly moving my money, and what the banking system does is programs you to park your money. So you put it into savings, and they save, and then you put it in a retirement plan, let's say starting at 25, and you hope it's there at 65. I do not do that. And a financial education would teach you how debt and taxes make the rich richer. And that's all I'm saying to people when I wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I said, your house is not an asset. It's the bank's asset. And if you could wake up to that, no, you don't know what you're talking about. And now we have people who are walking away from their mortgages because the mortgage is worth more than the house. And that's what a little financial education, these guys wouldn't be able to brainwash you as easy. I'm not saying they're good or bad people. I'm saying if you don't know, someone's going to pick your pocket.
And your books quantify that down to fine detail, but give people the basics, as they're saying, what is this Robert, talking about? What is he saying here? I mean, tell us what you do with your money and what the rich do with their money.
Okay, first of all, there's 2 books people should read if they want to understand Rich Dad. Rich Dad, Poor Dad was really the basics. And Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a book on accounting, but it sold 24 million copies because it explains what our school system doesn't teach you, even in accounting classes. And the second book is a book called The Cash Flow Quadrant. And the quadrant is the 4 people that make up the world of money. The E quadrant stands for employees, so you could be a CEO or a janitor. The trouble with the E quadrant is that's the second highest tax of all the quadrants. That started in 1943 as the Current Tax Payment Act, which went against the Constitution. And they could tax, the government got paid before the employee got paid. Now, the next quadrant is the S quadrant, which stands for small business, self-employed, or specialist, like a doctor or a lawyer. The tax laws changed for them in 1986 with the Tax Reform Act. And they were just, that was part of the Reagan thing. They were trying to collect more taxes. On the right side of the quadrant, there's B, and B stands for big business, 500 employees or more. And I stands for investor. There's an investor class. Now, many people invest, like they invest in a mutual fund, but they invest, but they're not investors. Investors are pure capitalists because they're always raising capital. So for a guy like me, since I have more than 500 employees and I'm always raising capital via debt and things like that, I pay no tax. See, if you look at the tax code, the Internal Revenue Tax Code, most of the code is how to avoid taxes. But the trouble is, if you go to school and you're taught by the socialists of the school system, they're actually teaching you to be the proletariat, the working class, working for the bourgeois, the rich. And I don't want to be bourgeois. I just want to be a capitalist. I don't want to pay all that tax. See, the government needs guys like me who provides jobs, and I have large apartment houses, and I have oil wells. I produce constantly. So the tax laws are written for me, except the school system doesn't tell you about the other side of a coin.